Okay, I'll call this meeting to order. It is Thursday, December 19th, 2024. We're here to review the SLFRF Obligation Memorandum of Understanding. And I will turn it over to Colleen, our Grants Administrator.
Thank you. So as a part of the requirements through Treasury to obligate funds, they have some very specific things that it can't be just, minutes or budgeted items. Things have to be contractually obligated. There was some confusion on whether wages or all of these other things, wages specifically had to be obligated or not. And so I went back and forth with Ben and we kind of figured that out. But there was some conflicting language in different webinars that I went to that said just obligate everything through an MOU or wages don't have to be. So after Ben reviewed it, the wages will just put as budgeted so we don't have to do the MOU on that, which is great. Okay. That makes today a whole lot easier. We have also, I got everybody's projects closed up, ready to go, except for two. And that's the South Fork Sewer District. They only have one payment left to finish theirs out, and we do already have an agreement with them. So that one is already obligated through agreement. And then Clarkia is the last one, and that has just kind of finalized through October, the end of October. So what I have here is their agreement, which is their contract with it. And then today I have just one MOU that I will be asking for you to sign. Okay. And this is just obligating those funds to the Clarkia. So they were originally given $40,000, $20,000 to do repairs on their lift stations because they were failing. And then the other $20,000 they had to use to do upgrades. They couldn't just Band-Aid things. It wasn't meant to just Band-Aid and then hope it works. So over the last couple of years, they have been very diligent and have gone out. They're now doing a wastewater facility plan. So that $20,000 we're able to obligate to, excuse me, sorry about that. We're able to obligate to their facility plan and then just the maintenance of things to keep the lift stations running until they're able to begin construction. So there is the MOU, and Ben did go through these and said, yep, it's just a boilerplate that came from NACO. Okay. And he reviewed it and said, yeah, it's a goods and services, it works. So they have remaining in that $40,000, $19,673 and change. So I just put $674 on here. But it's, we will pass through no more than $19,674 for eligible expenses. The two line items are preparation of a wastewater facility planning study, as outlined in the agreement for services with Alta Science and Engineering, and repair and maintenance to lift stations to continue service until the wastewater plan is completed and construction scope is determined. So if that is agreeable to you to continue that, we can obligate that remaining funds officially through this MOU.
And so basically what this is when we're obligating, what they want us to do is have an actual contract that shows it is obligated instead of saying, yeah, we're going to spend it. Okay.
Yeah. They've been very clear that you cannot formally obligate money just through saying minutes or budget items. It has to be a contract. Okay. And even some of the items within interagencies, within departments, you would have had to. But the wages, as long as that position existed before the end of the year, which mine did. So everything will just shift over to continuing to pay me through the end of the term of this, which is December of 26. And it's pretty close to make, so depending on how insurance and everything goes. We were able to use the last little bit that had to be obligated through the lease payments. And so this is just the last straggler out there that doesn't have something that's either completed or formally obligated in another way.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
So, and I thought Dave was going to be here when I ran into him yesterday. He said, I'll see you tomorrow. So I just filled this out with his name, but I can quickly redo that and send it to Sydney and change it to you.
Does it need to be done today? Dave will be in next week if you want.
Well, I need to get this to Clarkia to have them sign it. Okay. And that's up to you guys, whatever you want to do. I can have you sign it as pro tem, and then I can just email that down.
Whatever.
Probably the sooner you start getting the signatures, because you do have to send it out. But let's just
okay. That's fine with me.
Yeah, and they've already, we've already gone through the conversations. The sewer district has already approved all of these things. I'm not sure if they will feel that they need to bring this to the board meeting to have it signed, since everything's already been done in other avenues, but this is just, we didn't have a formal obligation until this was done. And this wasn't signed until the end of October. And I did, you're welcome to look at this. I can leave this for you if you want to see what they're doing. It's a big one. But that's the contract scope of work with Alta Science. And so this is just the MOU that we would need to get to them.
Okay. Okay, I would do I will motion to approve the memorandum of understanding for the obligation of SLFRF funds between Shoshone County and Clark Hill Sewer District.
Okay, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Perfect.
And then I'll go ahead and sign it.
Sounds great. And then just as I guess kind of a tickler, because this has been brought up, not meant for any action, just to put in your pocket to consider, as going, oops, nope, not that one. As I was going back and forth and getting things figured out with Timmy, and we've got numbers kind of where it needs to be. In September, there was the using 264 wages for the sheriff's office. So that would have to come out of the LATCF, which that was discussed. It would be either a combination or all LATCF. There is $170,752.57 in interest in 207. That, as I understand it, and that would be, a question for you ladies, that was not contemplated in the budget because it's in that restricted fund and hadn't been moved out. So that could be unexpected revenue, and then only $89,000 has to come out of the LATCF for those wages. So just something to consider, but that's the numbers on that.
Okay, so how on the grant interest, let's say the SLFRF funds that we have, does the interest, when you get the interest for that, does that go back to that fund?
Well, actually, when we were tracking it, Jeff, what I found was the first interest payment was paid to current expense.
Oh.
And I'm not sure who made that decision, but looking at it, I would say we need to be consistent. You can't just change your mind unless you, normally we would have been consistent and we just moved the money.
Okay.
Now, if it is an option for the commissioners, that if they want to give me some directions in either, of course, a minutes or a resolution, whatever, then we can change that. But at this point, I'm consistent. It all goes into current expense until at which time you guys in the other direction.
Okay.
Does that help?
Okay. So we'd have to make a decision on that when we. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Now, thankfully, these dollars are not under the obligation because the interest was meant for the county. They didn't. Treasury did not. They didn't put their fingers in that one.
I was thinking, but great. We have to figure out the interest.
No. Thankfully, that one is not. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's about it. Do you have any questions, Commissioner Cassidy?
No. Okay.
Any other questions, concerns?
No, now, I do have a quick question with Clark Egg grant. Is the only obligated money is going to be spent, or are they going to do a pass-through with our the funds being matching, or is it going to be a bigger project, I guess?
The project has already started, so there was $40,000 that they were approved to use for their overall project, which was repairs to the lift stations
From your
and
grant,
then the 20, right, from the LATCF.
Right.
So, and forgive me, the matching funds is kind of throwing me for a loop because there's no matching. It's a reimbursement, so they have to incur them as we have been doing.
Well, I wasn't sure if they had turned around and got another part of the grant to get that system fixed like Southport. I just want to make sure.
Oh, yeah, but we're not going to be tied to that. So they did receive USDA. They pooled together multiple, and it's in that agreement. We have $15,000 that's in the facility planning. And so ours will be the first out because of the time frame. That one goes through like 2027. And so those first, because we have to have that through by the end of 26, which I'm expecting it'll be done before that. I'm talking with Alta, but we'll be the first one to be billed on that rather than the reimbursement through USDA and DBQ.
Okay, so that's the reason why I was asking.
Okay.
I don't know if we needed to open up another town or not, so yes.
No, it'll go through the same Clarkia one, and I'll just be tracked.
Okay. Anything further? We'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you.